I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Simpson?
Here.
Coyne?
Here.
Hilberg?
Here.
Colasar?
Here.
Lamb?
Here.
Rose?
Here.
Shields?
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the May 29, 2012 regular meeting as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Hilberg? Sorry, Coyne.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Reports from standing committees. The Finance Committee, we had a meeting prior to the council meeting, as we do every time, and this was about a 2-hour meeting. It was a lot of items for discussion, some good discussion, and our next meeting is prior to council on, I think it's June 24th. Is that correct? Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Rose.
No meetings and scheduled, and nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing scheduled, nothing to report.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Water and Utilities Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report at this time.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several items for the Finance Committee. We have 12-114, appointment of bond underwriter, 12-115, appointment of bond counsel, 12-116, budget amendments, 12-117, tax budget, 12-118, central processing facility, 12-119, revocable use permit for St. Francis Xavier, 12-120, amendment to ordinance 4210, railroad grade crossing improvements, 12-121, charter amendments for the Parkland and appointed finance director. Reports from municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The July 4th parade will take place on July 4th at 6 p.m. And there's information on the city webpage for those that are interested. They can download the forms and pre-fill those out and send them into Dawn at my office. The parade lines up at the Medina High School West Lot and starts about 5 p.m. and steps off from there about 6 p.m., goes down Spring Grove to Liberty and around the square. New this year at the July 4th parade, the United Church of Christ and Feeding Medina County have joined together to start a new tradition of people bringing non-perishable food items to the parade. And they're going to have shopping carts and both the carts decorated as well as the people pushing the carts decorated and doing some maybe dance routines or some kind of choreography. Watch for Mr. Lamb in that. But I would encourage anybody coming to the parade, if possible, to bring food donations. We're seeing the needs at each and every one of the food pantries throughout the communities. The needs are increasing pretty substantially, and it's an excellent way to support those that are in need of proper nutrition and food supplements in our community. The Medina Community Band Concert started this past Friday night and will continue each Friday night through June and July. They start at 8:30 on the square, and then there's a special concert on Wednesday, July 4th, also at 8:30. It's a great community event for the families. They're free. And the information is available on the band website, www.medinacommunityband.org. Jazz Under the Stars, there's free concerts on the square by Ormaco, merchants and businesses of Medina. The next one, there was one this past Saturday. The next one is July 7th, August 12th, and September 1st. And all concerts run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. For further information, they also have a website, www.ormaco.org. And Ormaco is also hosting a summer art program for youth at Union Square Community Room. That'll be the Saturdays of June 9th, 16th, and 23rd. And then they're having a little graduation ceremony on June 30th from 9 to 10:30. Ormaco takes a portion of their proceeds for these free concerts and donations from the businesses and uses it to support the arts in the less privileged areas of the community. And that's one of the things that they're required to do by their regulations. And last but not least, I'd like to invite up the coaches and members of the Medina High School girls lacrosse team. Join me up front. Do we need to be punched? You're okay? Okay. They promised me I would get you all up here and keep you still long enough to take some photos of you. These are members of our media, which cover our meetings all the time. To my left is Amanda Wilson, the head coach, Ari Knox, the assistant coach, and Claire Callio, the second or another assistant coach, and the rest are the ladies from the team. I'd like to congratulate the ladies as well as read a proclamation that we have to present to the team, and then offer the coach anything she'd like to share. City of Medina proclamation. Whereas the Medina High School girls varsity lacrosse team under Coach Wilson and staff is to be recognized and honored for their outstanding lacrosse season. And whereas by its extraordinary efforts, this dynamic team has won their third straight title by defeating Upper Arlington in Division I final on June 2nd, 2012, ending the season with a 16-3 record. And whereas this year's varsity team members include 2 All-American players, 2 first-team All-Ohio, 3 All-District first team, and 2 All-District second team, and 1 honorable mention. 3 members of the team were chosen to represent Northeast Ohio in the National Lacrosse Tournament. 1 player was chosen as the ESPN Player of the Week, and the entire team was featured on Sports Time Ohio as the High School Team of the Week. And whereas the excellent performance, dedication, commitment of these young women, along with their coaching staff, have proven to be a source of admiration and inspiration to the residents of the community. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Hanwell, Mayor of the City of Medina, do hereby honor the 2012 Medina High School girls varsity lacrosse team and staff for their outstanding achievements and commend them for their display of sportsmanship and leadership. In witness whereof, I have set the seal and signed on behalf of the City of Medina, and I would like to present this to Coach Wilson. Congratulations.
First off, obviously, congratulations to these girls. They worked hard this season, but I think it should be noted that the first seniors from this program graduated in 2004. And in 8 years, they have successfully defended state title for 3 years. It speaks volumes of Medina's athletic abilities, and I'm very honored and pleased that they get to represent Medina in their abilities. I'll introduce players. Carrie Kubasta, senior, leaving us. Christina Haston, senior. Katie Keefe, senior. Amanda Ghetto, junior. Kelsey Shoebridge, senior. Allie Schneider, junior. Kelsey McMillan, senior. Catherine Grenfell, junior. Oh, you're growing. Ellie Hudson Heck, senior.
Some of the younger girls are at a camp?
Yeah, we've got girls missing because they're doing a college education program with the travel team that they're playing at. So
let's congratulate them.
Go Bees. Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to the coaches and the team members. You'll remember this throughout your life, winning a championship. It'll never leave you. It's a great honor. And even though I'm from Buckeye, congratulations. Next, I have Mr. Huber, Law Director, or Mr. Durham, Finance Director. Sorry.
I don't know that I want to follow that anyway. Congratulations. I want to report that there's a Utility Rate Review Commission meeting tomorrow at 5:30. We'll be discussing the water and trash billing structure and that sort of thing.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Baraducci, Police Chief.
I want to remind everybody that the Medina Police Department's partnered with Medina Dairy Queen, and we want to thank Connie Hendricks. She's given us over 500 coupons for free ice cream cones whenever we find one of our children riding a bike with a helmet on. So put your helmets on and come on out, and the police officers have them in their cruisers. They'll be stopping and giving them to the kids. So I had one boy yesterday told me he's going home to have his dad buy him a helmet, and he's hoping I'll be back tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rice, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a note for council and the public, especially since we have a room full of young ladies here. I hope they like to shop. Main Street Medina's next event is Ladies' Night Out. Is scheduled for June 21st from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's sponsored by VCS Salon and Spa, so grab all your girlfriends and your mom and dad's credit cards and come on down for shopping. And then also that same evening, the Hot Rodders Association will be on the square showing all their cars, so something for the guys too, so... and as I always say, shop early, shop often. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hannon, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to note that the next Boards and Commissions meetings are this Thursday, June 14th. We have no agenda items for Historic Preservation Board or the Board of Zoning Appeals. There will be a Planning Commission meeting at 7 p.m., and which will also include final discussion of the 2012 Zoning Code amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Painter, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Vogel, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to take my few minutes tonight here to highlight a recent achievement in my department. My administrative assistant, Tammy Morris, has passed an examination administered by the International Code Council and is now a fully certified permit technician. I am highlighting this because there are only a few certified permit technicians in the state of Ohio, a state with hundreds of building departments and many hundreds of building department staff. Ms. Morris's new certification puts her in elite company in the building administration world and is an illustration of the kind of service and expertise we here in Medina are dedicated to providing our citizens. As in the past, our patrons can stop into the building department and find knowledgeable, helpful staff to assist them with their building needs. All of us in the department are serious in our desire to maintain our certifications and stay current with the latest changes in building technology. We now have a full staff proficient in not only building codes, but zoning, code enforcement, and even the legal aspects of code administration. So please utilize your Medina City Building Department and all that we can do as a source of information for your building projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swanson, Park and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, the city pool is open, and the hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., weather permitting. And you can purchase seasonal pool passes at the rec center, or the daily passes can be purchased at the pool. This past weekend, we had the Miss Soccer Tournament. It was hosted by Medina Soccer Association, and it drew thousands of visitors to Medina. And also, Medina Soccer Association, if you noticed, there was a new pavilion constructed at the Cunningham Fields. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Commerce Drive extension, the concrete work, the pavement is completed. We have a couple weeks' worth of finishing landscaping and some curb drains and that kind of things, but we do anticipate opening that road within the next couple of weeks. Our Parkview Drive culvert replacement project got started last week. It's expected to take about 6 to 8 weeks to complete. And finally, this afternoon, the Board of Control for the city awarded a contract for the Beechwood Drive reconstruction project, Phase 1. We anticipate a week or two to get the contract signed, and construction should start by the end of the month. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Conwell, Aspiring Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no comment or report.
Thank you. Your aspirations are not too high. Notices, communications, and petitions. We have none. Unfinished business. None. Introduction to visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so they can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sally Gardner, Medina Township, 3333 Foskett Road, and I'm here on behalf of the Medina County Office of Older Adults Advisory Council on Aging. I'm a member of that council, and we've had some meetings and determined that we want to get the word out better and in a more timely manner to a lot of the other areas in the county. And I know that Mr. Colasar had been on that committee and had to resign, which leaves 2 open spots for the city of Medina. I do have applications for that I will leave with you. It just has to be a resident of Medina City. I do have a little write-up that Laura Toth, the director of the Office of Older Adults, had asked me to read since she was not able to join us this evening. It says, Medina County Office for Older Adults is the county agency in Medina that serves hundreds and hundreds of seniors right within these city limits. We offer a variety of senior programming, congregate meals, 5 days a week, home-delivered meals to homebound individuals, and opportunities for all seniors 60 and over to have subsidized transit service. We also bring our Aging and Disabilities Resource Center in 2011, and we offer referrals, benefit assistance, and long-term life planning services to all who are 60 and over, but also those with disabilities who are age 18 and over. We continue to expand our services in cooperation with the Medina Community Recreation Center, and we are seeking opportunities to share clientele. Getting OOAs, seniors more active, and providing seniors who frequent the rec center the services and activities that our office provides. We have big county events such as Senior Day and Fall Festival, as well as center events such as our pool tournament, craft projects, a variety of group or weekly card games. Our newest events are the picnics on the patio, a fun summer series of picnics in our newly renovated courtyard area. Enjoy food and entertainment throughout this summer. The next event is Friday, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please come and see the office, explore what we have to offer. Right now we have no representation from the city in our services where our services are centered. Please consider a Medina City resident for our advisory board. It could be any neighbor or friend. There is no age requirement, just a desire to help the seniors and disabled of your community. Thank you, Laura Toth. I have copies of flyers for the picnic on the patio that I will leave. I have a copy of the newsletter, which is like 9 pages of all the different activities that are done down at the center, different projects that are going on, upcoming events, etc. It is put out monthly. I also have a flyer on the farmers market, which seniors can benefit from, which is different than the farmers market on the square in the city. So I don't know if there's a way for you to put those on a bulletin board somewhere or something like that. And I'm also thinking, for instance, I know you guys are talking about doing snow shoveling and that type of thing for seniors. Perhaps just having something available to hand out to those people as that's being done would also be beneficial. I just know from personal experience that I've run into people who look like they need assistance but don't know where to go. I was in Bueller's one day, and I was in the grocery line, and the woman ahead of me had written a check for $7 and some cents of groceries, and it didn't clear her bank. I went ahead and paid for her groceries. She was trying to find change in the back of her purse to pay me, and the manager at the grocery store came over and told me that that particular person had had difficulties on prior events and the same kind of thing had happened. I don't think she was out to scam anybody. I really don't think she didn't know she had money. Those are the kind of people that can get assistance through the Office for Older Adults. And one of the things that the Advisory Council is talking about doing is making that kind of information available to the stores, the merchants, et cetera, in the area so that they know what is all available. The one disadvantage that the Office for Older Adults has right now is their website, isn't very good. That isn't the word I really would like to use. They have it on a project list to get some done, but in the meantime, if you can help us out by getting some of this information out to the people in the city, I'd really appreciate it. Any questions? Thanks.
Nope. Thanks, Mrs. Gardner, and we'll try to get those positions filled as soon as humanly possible. Anybody else wish to address council?
Can I introduce her?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Lamb.
I'd like to introduce Shelby Carilco. Shelby is Shelby was a fourth grader. Now she'll be a fifth grader next year at Ella Canavan School. And Shelby will be participating in the National American Miss Beauty Pageant in Columbus in July.
Way to go, Bill.
And
Stage fright just hit. Oops.
It happens
You're not
to
the
me.
first girl that Bill's made cry, so.
Bill, I don't know.
I believe I get picked on here just a bit, but
She don't want to do. It's okay.
Yeah.
okay. Well, maybe there'll be an opportunity later on. But Shelby is going to be a fifth grader at Ella Canavan. She has been participating in this beauty pageant, and when she feels up to it, she's going to talk to the community about that participation, which is really a pretty wonderful thing, for a young girl to be doing, and we're really proud of her. So thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
And good luck.
Good luck. Anybody else wish to address council? Okay, introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 105-12, an ordinance to approve, adopt, and enact the current replacement pages to the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
This particular ordinance is the adoption of the traffic and general offenses codes as enacted by the Ohio General Assembly, and just modifies our current codes to bring in compliance with the state codes. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 105-2 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 106-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Ray & Associates, Inc. for the understanding of the services to be performed for the City of Medina for the year ending December 31st, 2011.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. The audit firm is selected essentially by the State Auditor's Office. We have only some input in that, but this memorandum of understanding is rather boilerplate accounting language that has to be agreed to by the governing body. That would be you.
Thank you. And it's not 2011 because that since passed. It's 2012.
No, it's 11. They're auditing 2011.
Oh, they're auditing the previous.
Right.
Okay, just wanted to double check on that. Thanks. Any further comments? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Ordinance 106-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 107-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with CT Consultants, Inc. for the administration of the fiscal year 2011 Community Housing Improvement Program, or CHIP.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested, and I move to add it at this time.
Second with emergency clause.
Any discussion on the emergency clause or the ordinance? Mr. Hannon? Or Mr. Durham? Or
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. This was selected by an RFQ process, but after that process, it needs to come back to council to authorize the expenditure. And the reason for the emergency clause is that there are invoices outstanding.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Ordinance 107-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 108-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional services agreement with Arcadius for the administration of the U.S. EPA Brownfield Coalition Grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause.
Any discussion on the emergency clause or the ordinance? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the same as the last ordinance. This is a grant project. They were selected through a process that we did last year, but the authorization of the expenditure is what we're doing here, and the emergency clause, again, is requested because our invoice is outstanding.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 109-12 pass, or 108-12 passes 7-0. Sorry.
Thank you. Ordinance 109-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept one perpetual trail easement for the Champion Creek Multipurpose Trail Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has once again been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause.
Any discussion on the emergency clause or ordinance? As Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This is an easement for the Champion Creek process multi-purpose trail. This easement is, I would note, has been valued. The appraisal is $4,000. We'd like to express our appreciation to SPM Properties, who own the apartment building there off of Springbrook. They've agreed to donate it, the easement at no cost to the city. We are asking for the emergency clause because this project being funded through state funds, we're required to follow the state process. It's been quite a long time to get to this point. Now that the easement's signed, we'd like to record it as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 109-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 110-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Priority Dispatch for the new computer dispatch and records management system for the Police Department Communications Center.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause.
Any discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance? Chief Bertucci?
Thank you, Mr. President. The emergency clause was requested because this had originally been authorized by the Finance Committee last November, but when the authorizing ordinance was published, this portion was left out. And so we are ready now to deploy this, and it's an important piece of software for the dispatch center and for the life support team here in Medina. So we're anxious to get that up and running.
Thank you. Any further question or comment on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Ordinance 110-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 111-12, an ordinance amending ordinance number 172-11, passed December 12, 2011. Amendments to the 2012 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. There's three items here. One is agency refunds, which are just returns of deposits and so on. The second is the JED income tax, which we collect, and then we pass on to the JED. It's a pass-through amount, and we didn't have an accurate number to budget for last year because it's a new item. And then the final item is that the court sold some items and would like to budget the money that they received from that so they can spend it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Ordinance 111-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 112-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a revocable use permit with the Medina Community Design Committee for the use, occupancy, and installation of electric service at the interurban framed building located at 263 South Court Street.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Mayor?
This is the small building across from the Methodist Church adjacent to our parking lot down there. It was a building without electric. The city provided that electric, and this permits the use of the building now by the Medina Community Design Committee.
And it's my understanding that Mr. Huber still has to review this, so our approval will be subject to the law director's review and approval of the revocable use permit.
I was just getting ready to ask for that.
Okay, you got it. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance as subject to the approval of the law director?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Abstain.
Rose?
Yes.
Ordinance 112-12 passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention, subject to the law director's approval.
Thank you. And council comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Colzar?
first off, I want to congratulate the girls lacrosse. I am a past student of the high school and a past athlete, and it makes me very proud up here not only to be a council member, but to be a past student of the high school and all the accomplishments you girls have done. You all should be very proud of what you've accomplished. Secondly, I just want to give a shout out and say thanks to the 100-plus volunteers we had this last Saturday for the Champion Creek Bradway Creek cleanup. I'm going to go through a list here because there were so many sponsors that got involved, if you guys don't mind. First off, Medina Community Church, who allowed us the location to meet and dispense all the volunteers and then come back for lunch. And we had Eye Candy Graphics, who helped us out with the T-shirts. First Merit, Western Reserve Bank, Medina Auto Parts, the Rocky River Watershed Council, Medina County Soil, Water, and Conservation District, Community Design Committee, the Western Reserve Land Conservancy, Cool Beans, Marie's Cafe, Bueller's, A Cupcake a Day, Main Street Corkscrew Saloon, and Whitey's Army and Navy Store, to name a few. And I just want to also personally thank Councilman Lamb and Councilman Hilberg, who've stepped up to help me with this creek cleanup, and they're the reasons, and Mr. Rose for volunteering, they're the reasons also that this was successful. Mayor and Don Conwell for their efforts, Parks Department, Streets Department, Sanitation. I mean, Greg Hannon in the Planning Department, he nearly had all the representatives from his department out there and his children. I appreciate it. The volunteers were residents and even Medina County residents that came out, and some are actually here in the audience, and I greatly appreciate it, of all ages. We were able to clean up a large portion of the west section of Bradway Creek, and we were able to actually clean Champion Creek from Prospect all the way down to Roscoe Ewing Park east of Guilford. And it was just, just real quick here, I had an email from a resident that just moved here a month ago and came out and said that the people that she walked with during the creek, it was like she just lived here her whole life, and that we've met her or greeted her with open arms, and that's just another benefit of our community. We are out there to make a difference in our waterways, but it just shows you the caliber of the people and the residents of the city of Medina and the county. So I just want to say thanks to everybody.
Thank you. Any additional council comments? Mr. Lamb?
I'd like to also thank all the people that Mark thanked, but most importantly, I'd like to thank Mark, because Mark Colasar, Councilman Colasar, has stuck with this creek cleanup, I believe, since 2004. And I know, some years when Mark has done this, there's been 15 people, some years there's been 9 people, but every year since he started, Mark has been there. And there are big things that government does or the city does, and we discussed. There are a lot of talented people here, but there are other things that happen that are equally important. And Mark has been a champion of the watershed, which is the water that we eventually drink because it goes into Rocky River and Lake Erie. Mark has been a champion of that watershed since he came on City Council. And he's done it without a lot of fanfare, a lot of hoopla, or a lot of pats on the back, but he has really stuck with it. And he is the person here that deserves the credit for getting all these folks together to do this job that is really vitally important. It's one of those things that it's a small thing, but done in a lot of different places, it really adds up. And so, I think we ought to give a big hand to Mark Colasar for that work that he's done. And Shelby, do you think you can do that? You want to do it now? Okay, great. Shelby Kirilko.
Hello. My name is Shelby Kuroko.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. You got this.
You got it, all right? We're all here for you, okay? You can do it.
I live on South Court Street. I attend Alacanavan Elementary School, and I am 10 years old. I have been chosen as a semifinalist in the National American Miss Pageant for Ohio. National American Miss teaches young ladies self-confidence, poise, how to handle an interview, public speaking, and a chance to earn money for college. I am hoping to collect sponsorship money to help with my future. I am very proud and feel I am a good candidate to represent my city of Medina. Thank you very much for your time and consideration for my future. There you go.
Congratulations again and good job. Most of us on council started out just like you're starting out, so we all cried up here the first time we were up here. So
Will do.
Congratulations. I think you're going to do a fine job. I have a few announcements. June 13th, we have the Joint Economic Development District meeting here at City Hall at 4:30. The Joint Economic Development District meeting was with Montville Township. It's called the JET Agreement. It's an economic development vehicle that we've been working on, so there's a meeting if you'd like to attend and listen to what we're planning or doing. That'll be wonderful. June 19th, the Parks and Cemetery Tour at 5:30. I think we're meeting here at City Hall. The council members are going to go visit our parks and the cemetery, some of the parks, not all of them. There's a lot of them to visit. Just to get a little update from Mr. Swanson and what's going on with the parks, some ideas of future projects with respect to the parks. The next day, Wednesday, June 20th, we have the budget hearing with respect to the parks and cemetery. We're not putting any pressure on you, Mr. Swanson, but when we go visit the parks, we'll make a determination how the budget's going to go. But if you'd like to attend a budget meeting, we all enjoy those. We have a 5-year budget here at the City of Medina, and we're going to be looking at the budget for the next 5 years with respect to the Parks and Cemeteries Department. Any other questions or comments from council?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
Just a couple last things here before we go into executive session. I did want to congratulate the girls lacrosse team. Very, very impressive accomplishment. I appreciate also that you stayed for the whole meeting tonight. That's really, nobody ever does that, so thank you for doing that. And, you guys coming up and standing by Shelby, I just want to say, it just shows how impressive you are, not only on the field, but off the field, too. It says a lot about the character of this team, and I appreciate you doing that. Medina should be very proud of all of you. I wanted to thank Kathy Patton, Dawn Conwell, the mayor. The last 2 weeks of May, beginning of June, we had 450 third graders in here. And it's a great experience, but to go through that 15 different times with 15 different classes, I could never do it without all those people helping. And we had a great time doing that, so thank you to all of you for helping make that happen. And then finally, I'd like to make a motion that council go into executive session for the purpose of discussing imminent litigation.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll on recessing into executive session.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coyne?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
We will not be returning from executive session, so this meeting is adjourned.